All right, let's talk about India. It's a place of just incredible diversity. And today, we're going to try and unpack what holds it all together. What are the core ideas, the historical threads that weave this incredibly complex country into one single unified whole?
And that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, you've got countless languages, completely different foods, all these unique cultural traditions. So how on earth does a place like that not just hold together, but actually turn that very diversity into its greatest strength?
And these two images, they nail it perfectly. On one side, you have this ancient civilization, something that feels like it's been there forever. And then, bam, on the other, you have a country that's all about the future, a leader in tech and green energy. It's that push and pull, that constant conversation between the ancient and the brand new that really tells you what India is all about today.
You know, this idea of being connected, it's not a modern thing at all. For centuries, way before there were planes or trains, people were on the move. Pilgrims would travel from the southern tip of the country all the way to the far north. Traders crisscrossed the land on ancient routes. All that movement, all that mixing, it wove this incredible shared culture together, long before India was a single country on the map.
Okay, so how do you actually manage all this diversity? How do you weave it all together? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle comes down to one really powerful concept: the quest for equity. Now let's be super clear about what we mean by equity here. It's not about treating everyone the exact same. It's about fairness. It's about recognizing that because of history, not everyone gets to start at the same line in the race. So equity is all about making adjustments to give everyone a fair shot at success.
And just look at the sheer scale of this challenge. The groups that are officially recognized as having been disadvantaged by history, we're talking about the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, well, they make up almost 70% of the entire population. Let that sink in. This isn't some small minority. This is why that principle of equity is absolutely central to the nation's whole identity and its success.
So a challenge that big needs a serious plan, right? A blueprint. And for India, that blueprint is its constitution.
Imagine this. You've just won independence after centuries of foreign rule. Now you have the monumental task of building a nation. The founders needed a framework for a just society, and the chief architect was a brilliant legal mind named Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. What's so powerful is that he himself came from a marginalized community. So he didn't just understand the need for social justice in theory, he had lived it.
So what did the Constitution do to turn these ideals into reality? Well, for a start, every single adult got the right to vote. It made discrimination illegal and specifically outlawed the terrible practice of untouchability. And it created something called the reservation system, which is a form of affirmative action to ensure that these historically disadvantaged communities get representation in universities and government jobs. But of course, having a brilliant plan on paper is one thing. Upholding it in the real world is something else entirely. And since its independence in 1947, India's constitutional ideals have been tested again and again by conflict.
The pressure has been relentless, from external wars with China and Pakistan to decades of internal separatist movements. These weren't just political events, they were real existential threats that tested the nation's very resolve to stay united.
And we can't forget the very real human cost of all this. Events like the 1990 exodus of Kashmiri Pandits, where hundreds of thousands of people were forced to flee their homes, are just a harrowing reminder of how fragile unity can be when those internal divisions are allowed to fester. And yet, despite all of those trials, the nation didn't just hold together. It's emerged as a global power. So, that brings us to today. What does India's path forward look like?
Well, for starters, India is now the world's fifth largest economy. I mean, that alone is a huge testament to its resilience. But economic success, as we know, is only part of the story.
Because, challenges absolutely remain. While there's been incredible progress in literacy, a significant gap still exists between men and women. It just shows that the quest for equity, especially when it comes to gender, is an ongoing journey with a lot of work still left to do. But the ambition for the future is unmistakable. India is focused on global leadership, especially in renewable energy. Through big initiatives like the International Solar Alliance, it's actually helping other nations transition to clean energy, a move that's both environmentally responsible and a massive economic opportunity. And this isn't just talk. There's a concrete plan. To manage its massive population, India is upgrading its existing cities, pouring money into new infrastructure, and, get this, planning to build at least 8 brand new cities by 2047. This is what building the future looks like on a national scale.
In the end, it all comes down to this. Constitutions, laws, and economic plans, they provide the framework. But the real strength of the nation's fabric depends on the actions of its people. The responsibility for upholding tolerance and mutual respect rests with every citizen. And the big question for India, and really for any diverse nation, is whether its people will continue to choose that unity every single day.